All right, I'm live. Let me see here. Hey, y'all. I'm live. I am live. All right. So, okay. I'm just testing this out. Okay. Okay. Trying to make sure I can. Okay. So, I'm live. I dropped the link. I tagged BGS. Let me make sure I can hear myself. Let me see here. Make sure the sound is okay. Sound is working. All right. Now that I know the sound is good. So if he wants to pull up on me, he can. Because what I'm not going to do to him is what he does to me. I'm not paranoid about somebody making a point, right? I'm not worried about somebody having an opinion that disagrees with my own. I can actually handle a difference of opinion. My ego is not so weak that I can't let people get out a complete sentence. But that's how he operates. We'll talk about that another time. And I have to tell y'all, I have a cold because here in Georgia, um, we have been we have been having rain constantly. Okay. So anyway, I'm doing this part of the stream because BGS has he's so arrogant. Let me explain this. I put in the title and I explained in the description. Um, read for what? That's my challenge. Read for what? What do you read for? He keeps so anyway, long story short, I pulled up on his stream the other day and he proceeded to try to say that I don't read. Get that now, that I don't read. Prove it. So I'm going to give you the first time where you're literally wrong. You don't know anything about me. You're trying to insult my intelligence as a woman. So you have to say that I don't read. Well, read for what is my question. I would suggest, let me take this out of my ear, this earplug. I would suggest that BGS, he reads so he can flex on people. Okay. He reads so that he can have a whole bunch of random dates. Okay. And he can flex on people. Random knowledge so he can flex on people. It's like playing Jeopardy with him. I have 1,000 questions that only I know the answer to that I found in some books. And I'm going to ask them anytime I can't win an argument. So I'm going to pull that information out and then try to make you look stupid because you didn't read exactly what I thought was interesting. You didn't read the books by the authors that I like and the topics that I know about or profess to know about. Okay, so that's just a little game because he has insecurities about not having intellectual authority. Again, this is that whole I'm self-taught. Luna, I'm busy. I've been you can go in there. So I'm going to start off with this. I am a Black woman who has been reading since I was a child. So I found it absolutely funny. So I'm going to tell you right now, BGS, I'm going to prove you wrong. I know how difficult it is for you to deal with being wrong, but you're being wrong this time is going to be absolutely factual. It's going to be absolutely factual that you are wrong. You said I don't read. I want you to be wrong and be clear that you're wrong. I read plenty. I know lots of things. I've been reading since I was a child. I grew up in a household where reading is a culture to the point where me and my dad exchange books. Okay. When my birthday comes, my dad, holidays come, my dad is buying me books and I'm buying him books. My last book to him was a book about two books actually about Israel, one from a Christian perspective, and one was a travel guide. Why did buy my dad those books? Because he said that he wanted to go to Israel. That was that right before October 7th. We were supposed to be there in November, end of October to November. Thank God we didn't go. But he and I were planning a trip together, and I sent him that through Amazon. I come from a culture of reading, been reading since I was a child. I pour through books. I'm an avid reader. My dad was the one who would write me a check for $100 when the book fair to the school came. I've been reading since I was a child. So to have you as an old man who has no actual formal education, not none, tell me, a woman who has multiple degrees and trainings, that I'm not a reader. And I have taught and graduated many at-risk kids, and I taught them how to read and pass literacy tests and high school graduation tests. That is so funny to me. But thus is the internet. So anyway, I thought I love my reading and what I do, and it's private. See, I don't have to publish like my bookshelf. This is the first time I'm showing my bookshelf. This is one bookshelf. There's another bookshelf. And then I have one over here on the wall, a big white one. And one thing about a person who is an avid reader, what you'll find out is they like the library. Because after you like books and you pour through them so quickly, you realize you don't need to buy everything. You realize that a long time ago. So my daughter and I have a big ass basket. And actually on my channel, you will see if you scroll through, you will see me practicing reading with her because I'm a literacy coach by formal training and an English teacher and possibly a professor if I want to be. Been hired twice for the job. They don't pay enough. So this idea that, you know, other people don't read. Are you serious? Are you so serious? The cynical one. Hey, hello. So what I'm deciding to do today, hold on one second. Hold on a second. I can talk to my daughter. I'm doing a book show and tell, okay? So anyway, this might not be a spicy video. I'm just letting y'all know I'm not doing any trolling here. I'm about to show this old man what it feels like to be absolutely wrong as a fact. And I continue to have a literature and literary culture as a person. And if need be, I can provide the receipts of all of my library checkouts for the past 5 years if need be. Since I don't read and I'm not a reader and I don't know how to read or whatever little silly insult this man who has no degrees, well, I have five, decided to say. Okay. I can't even tell you how much writing I've done. But the question is, what is the purpose of reading? Do you just read so you can try to flex on people, ask people random questions and facts and dates to try to make them look stupid? Or does your reading have a deeper purpose? Let me ask that question again. Does your reading have a deeper purpose? I would submit to you that I am somebody who reads for partially for pleasure, partially for pleasure, but I also read. So we're going to have a book show and tell today just for you, BGS, just for you. And no, my books may not interest you, and it's not supposed to. You're an old man, a flame going out, okay? I'm a young, vibrant woman. I read. Why do I read? Why does May read? Yes, there we go. There we go. And why do I read? I read because I apply it to my life. And guess what? For every book that I have read, there's something that I can show for it. I got receipts, baby. I got receipts and I'm finna go through it. This is gonna be boring, BGS. You can pull up if you want to. But I'm doing a book show. You're gonna be wrong for the first time if you've never been wrong before. I'm gonna prove you are wrong. You said I do not read, I'm not a reader, and I can't read, and I don't know anything. Well, that's just not right. So I'm gonna do a book. Hey, come out of there. Luna, come out of there. Go back that way before you knock something over. I've been working in there. Move. Don't knock anything over. Be careful, okay? I've got a project I'm working on in here. Ooh, I'm trying to renovate some of my glassware and stuff. So anyway, let me see what he did. A lot of good those degrees do you. Yeah. Well, they've actually allowed me to to retire at 42. Okay. with property in another country. Everything I read, I have applied it. And I'm gonna give you the first specimen. You see that? Smart couples finish rich. You know why I read something like that? Let's talk about application. Read this book. You know why I read this book? Because I'm a couple. I'm married. And I wanted to make sure me and my husband, he was reading financial books before he met me. That's actually the reason why I wanted to marry him. He opened his he's a reader. He opened his trunk when I was first meeting him, and I saw all them Susie Orman and what's that other guy he reads? What's that guy's name? Shit. I got one of his books. I'm doing a book show right here. That's what I'm doing. It's gonna be boring, but I'm gonna go through it because I want to prove to you that you don't know what you're talking about. And I got receipts for everything I do. See, I read these financial books because I apply them to my life, BGS. My dad had me reading since I was a child. I'm a straight fucking nerd. Okay? And you, what are you doing with your so-called books? Using it to chump people out, to ask random Jeopardy questions? I finished early, retired already. I live out of pleasure because smart couples finish rich. Got some more stuff for you. Die Broke. I love this book. I tell everybody, read this book. I talked about this book on Taharka Bay one day. It's a radical way to balance your money out. You don't leave anything for anybody. You understand? You figure out how to make your money work for you and do things for your family while they're alive when they need it. Die Broke. Radical. Love this book. Okay? I read everything. I can give you a book. I can give you a straight book report on any of these books. Okay? Limitless. Another book. See that? These are the things I'm interested in. You might not be interested in what I'm interested in, but I read. You are absolutely wrong, sir. This is tough reading. This is called Krishnamurti. This is tough stuff. I got lots of Krishnamurti books. This is an interest of mine. He's an Indian philosopher. See, I don't read the philosophers. You're a westernized person. As a matter of fact, Krishnamurti is very difficult to read. A lot of the stuff he says is very shocking. One particular thing that this made me throw this fucking book. Took me 3 years to read this book because it pissed me off so bad. But my friend said, continue forward. My friend Umar that I keep talking about, the one I went to the strip club with, he's a PhD. He said, keep going, May. We spent hours talking about Krishnamurti. This is going to be a very boring stream, I promise you. Okay? Everything I do is applied. Why do I read Krishnamurti? I apply all my financial books. They are showing in my life. I got business books. I got a business. I'm going to go through it all. Not all my books. You can watch it later. This is going to be boring, I promise you. I'm doing a book review so you can see that you are absolutely wrong. You think you know everything. You don't know anything, BGS. You use books to try to fake in front on people. That's what you do. I use books to apply knowledge to my life, and I have receipts in my real life of where the knowledge actually fucking went. Okay? We different. We different. Krishnamurti said that there's no such thing as love between human beings. That was hard to stomach. He's a philosopher. The awakening of intelligence. This is the type of stuff I'm interested in. I'm not interested in reading some of the stuff that you're talking about. A whole bunch of complaints and crying books about sociology. We're not on the same page. My knowledge is not in the same realm as your knowledge. That's all. That doesn't make anybody better than anybody, but you can't appreciate that. People ain't read the authors that you read, the names you pull. I don't need to pull Krishnamurti out on you. That's what I read. Why I got to pull out my bullshit on you? Huh? Why I got to do that? African American history book. I use this as a point of reference. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I didn't sat there and read it from top to beginning to the end. Then we have the Bhagavad Gita. This is an ongoing thing. I have several versions of it. I am constantly reading and trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because I am into Vedic culture. It's applied to my life. Okay? Put that back. I don't want that to fall. Then I'm an activist. So what did I have to learn about? I had to learn about Antifa. Why did I have to research Antifa? Because they contacted me during my actual activism. And I had to say, who the fuck is this and why? Are you contacting me on Telegram talking about we secret? And it needs to be, what is it? Secure. I'm doing a book report, y'all. This is gonna be boring. I'm trying to teach BGS to stop being so goddamn arrogant. And ain't gonna tell me I don't read. So I'm doing him a whole book show today. And I'm showing him how I actually apply my books to life. So because I learned about Antifa from this fucking book, I started watching their tactics. I had to determine whether I wanted to do anything with them or want any of them to come to my protests. I decided I did not. And I started studying how they do things on the news. They like to sneak attack and sucker punch people and run. They attack like monkeys. That is their actual strategy. That's Antifa. I had to get that book so I can know who I'm dealing with out here on these streets. You understand? I don't use books to fake in front on people. I use it for knowledge. Let's go to the next part. I'm an herbalist. I got receipts for my shit, BGS. I don't have to fake in front and try to pretend to be smart. Why do I have a herb book? Because I grow herbs out there. I grow elderberry. I'm finna read these comments in a minute. Y'all want receipts? Let's go out to the garden. You already seen it. I got herbs out there. I got elderberry. I'm still working on it. I'm scared of that shit. I got St. John's wort. I got all kind of herbs out there. I'm a herbalist. You see what I'm saying? I read for knowledge, for life enhancement. I don't use it to fake in front of people. What else am I into? Ayurveda. That's right, goddammit. I study the science of the body and nutrition as it relates to the Vedic culture. I'm very much into Vedic culture. I don't share it a lot. I always joke that I'm an Indian, but it goes deeper than that. I study Ayurveda. And what you're going to find, do y'all see all this right here? This is Krishnamurti. This is Deepak Chopra, The Healing Self. I got so many Deepak Chopra books. Deepak Chopra. I got so many Deepak Chopra books. Perfect Health. Y'all see that? The Path to Love. Okay. Y'all see that? Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul. Deepak Chopra. The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire, The Healing Self, Freedom from Addiction. Krishnamurti, The Book of Life, Freedom from the Known. Y'all see that? That's what I do. I read. I don't have to come online and brag and try to chump people out. Y'all see that? Ayurveda. I study Ayurveda. I did a whole video on tea. Y'all understand? I did a whole video on tea and I broke down my Ayurveda. You can go review it. Everything I do is applied. Excuse me 1 second. Let me read what he done said. May what? Who what you talking about? What? Oh, I'm sorry. That's Gabe. He said May. Hey, what's up, Gabe? I thought that was BGS talking about some May. I was trying to say, what he talking about May for? Let me see. He said, the Manahan report is boring. That shit is irrelevant. It's 60 years old. And you don't do research, so you don't know that it's irrelevant. I do know. A professor will not allow you to use no old ass research, BGS, but you wouldn't know that. You ain't been to graduate school. I used to trade stocks and commodities. See, that's your problem. You on an ego trip. Everything's about you. But you the one told me I don't read or something about I don't know how to read. Oh, hold on. I got Tech Pookie. Hold on. Add to the stage.
How's it going, May?
What's up?
My boozy sister. We are yes.
My bougie brother.
Absolutely.
What's your
I heard you were going on. Yeah, it's the same old BGS stuff, man. It's like these. I had never in the circles that I've been in ever heard anybody try to stun on people with books or try to pre-qualify individuals with some book that they've read. We typically try to find and understand where somebody is from an understanding, and we kind of move forward with a discussion based upon our shared understanding of a subject. It's not like, have you read this book? Oh, okay. You haven't? Well, then there's no further in this conversation.
You're just not smarter than me. You're not smart enough to talk to me. You didn't read that one book.
It's crazy. It's just a failed attempt to try to disqualify somebody's opinion or opposing idea from a conversation because you really don't have any any other arsenal. You don't have life successes, you don't have family successes, you don't have career successes, you don't have degrees, you don't have any of that. All you have is this YouTube channel and these supposed infinite knowledge base from all of these books that you've read. I think it's just sad. I think it's just sad. And I'll
It
pause
is
there.
sad, and I think it's anti-intellectual, actually.
Absolutely.
And that's one of
Absolutely.
the things as a teacher that I learned. That's one of the first things that you learn, and that's why I would say, this fake master teacher stuff. I had did a video, but I took it down, and I broke down based on my understanding and knowledge and my formal training as a teacher why BGS is not an actual teacher.
Why?
Because you have the zone of proximal development, and you move the student to the zone of actual development. He doesn't do
Mm,
that. He talks
no.
down to people. He belittles them. He assumes they know nothing. And that's not how you teach anybody. You have to get them to move. Venus, I'll pull you up in a second. You have to get people to move from a place of not knowing and discovering information on their own, not you
Absolutely.
tell them what to think.
And then where are his peers? Where are the peers? Where are the people that these intellectuals and these academics that BGS grew up with? Where are those individuals? Have they just
It's
left
all
BGS in the
hearsay.
dust? Like
It's all
I don't know
hearsay.
where these where are the BGS peers that he speaks to and with the same energy and vigor of intellectualism that he supposedly has on the like you never hear him talking to his peers ever. You only hear him talking to people younger because he has a couple of different weapons. He has, have you read this book?
Right.
I'm older than you and I know people with those accomplishments. Those are his three different weapons. Those are his three weapons
So
that he regularly uses.
by
Yeah.
osmosis,
That's
through
great.
association, their knowledge becomes his knowledge. Okay.
I'm not gonna do that. Like no intellectual does that. They stand on their own. They stand on their own ideas. They stand on their own basis. They don't have this as this weird relationship with other people's accomplishments where they are giving him some type of some type of ability to use their accomplishments as a weapon against others. That's just weird to me.
Right. Weaponizing ideas and thoughts and opinions. I've never seen anything like it.
No.
I've never seen. And he just gave me another whole nother stream I got to do. He just said, you don't
Mhm.
do research. I had to do a master's thesis
Yeah.
and the PhD that I didn't finish. I have that work and I got what you call a specialist degree. I got
Mhm.
2 master's theses. So this right here is going to turn into me actually presenting it. And then I have current research that I have been doing. And BGS, drop your email because I'm going to send you. I'm actually doing a lecture tomorrow, BGS, in a whole nother city. But the work I'm working on right now is so sensitive. I can't share it because I troll on YouTube, but then there's real life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to
Yeah.
share that on here. So BGS, drop your email. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share, and I have a whole hard drive of research. I do tons of research. I do historical research on very specific places as it relates to what I'm actually doing in my community. I actually reach out to people who trace the historical and financial background of how certain buildings got there and who owns them now and why nobody's allowed to buy them. I do stuff like that. That's research. I
I'm talking
use
about a
real estate
serious
agents.
occupation that has real world effect, and you have different outputs of work. You have credibility. You have a backlog of accomplishments. You talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
real stuff.
because it's
Real stuff.
foreign
I
in this
got people in
space.
my community that
Because it's
call me
foreign.
for they call me for
Yeah.
media coaching. Before channel
Mm,
2 and channel 5 call, they say, "Hey, I need to talk to you, May."
mm.
And I tell them exactly what to do, what not to do. I write their press releases. That's a whole different career. And I can't talk about that on here because I don't need no issues when it comes to that work. It's political and social work. And I'm working with legislation in the state of Georgia. I have at least 3 bills that have been on the books and are still on the books that I've been working
I
with
got you.
a state representative. I got actual legislation, and I meet with Governor Kemp from time to time because we have some formal agreements. I wrote a proposal and he agreed to it. This is the type of
That's why
work
it's
I
so
do.
crazy. That's why it's so crazy when you come into a space where
Uh-huh.
it's like they act like you are them. They act like you
Right.
don't you haven't been in this world making a difference in some way, shape, or form in your own. Like they act like you don't have a like they start you off from as unaccomplished. Like like the
You're
and based
dumb.
upon how you sound on a panel or based upon who accepts you or some type of high school popularity contest, that's when you're accepted or unaccepted, which is so weird. It's just so
It's
when
high
you have
school,
real
isn't
world
it?
success and you come to somewhere where they think you have none. This is wild.
Isn't that high school? It's just so high
It
school.
is.
And I've been around
And
enough
you
people
reference,
to know that you cannot judge book by its cover, especially in Atlanta.
no,
Some of
not
these
at all.
dudes be having like crazy looking hair and all this and that, and then you'll find out that they're leading like amazing organizations. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
looking at people, you
Right.
can't tell what they're capable of. You don't know what they have done.
Exactly.
And I
That's why
understand
you
that you
have
can't discount people. Huh?
that's why you have these exploratory conversations with individuals rather than you trying to throw your quote unquote intellectual D on the table and 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 trying to like sun people on panels. You talk to individuals so you understand where they're coming from in their backgrounds, rather than starting off as I know more than you. I've read more books than you. This and like
Bet you didn't read this. Bet you didn't read that. It's like one upping somebody on a book.
exactly.
Who does that?
I don't know. I've never
BGS,
I
you don't have any intellectual friends, clearly. You don't.
nah.
Because you would have better like intellectual manners. Like that's just not stuff that people who are well read do. People who
No.
are actually out here doing stuff. And my point is, I have some receipts for everything I do. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show this real quick.
Everything.
I'm gonna show you this. Let me show this real quick. Y'all know how I end up on the watch list?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I got into. I got published by Forbes
Uh-oh.
magazine. Forbes magazine, I got published because I used to be the president of Angela Davis's group called Critical
Oh wow.
Resistance. Huh?
Mm. I said, "Oh wow." No, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. She came to my school, Agnes Scott, and she spoke, and we had me and Angela Davis had a great conversation. And she was
Mm.
lecturing about prisons. And she talked about that. Next thing you know, communicating with her in her organization, I became the Atlanta president of Critical Resistance. This is why I ended up on the watch list. I have studied Angela Davis and I have worked for her. That's what I'm saying. I
Wow.
don't gotta do what BGS does. I don't have to get on here and tell everybody I'm associated with. I got on the watch list because of a lot of the people that I have been associating with.
Yeah.
You
Activism,
know, yeah,
involvement,
activism,
real world activities. Like
real world
these are
activities. Yeah,
things that you're passionate about, that you put feet to ground and that you make impact within that environment and in that lane of your study and of your passion. Like that's just foreign to these guys. I'm telling you, it is very foreign to them. They have no idea have no idea what that
yeah.
means.
They don't. They just think they can get on the internet and play Jeopardy on people, and that means
There we
something.
go.
You
There
don't
you
know
go.
this
That's it.
particular fact that I know, and I only know the answer. And I'm like, that is so far from like real life and anything that matters. Knowledge is to be
Yeah.
applied. It's to be applied. You're supposed to have something to show for the knowledge.
Yeah.
And I would argue that he doesn't have anything to show. So BGS, since you said I don't do research, I did quite a bit of research. I wrote for Forbes magazine, and it was about the prison industrial complex. And I actually went to Tupac, his stepfather here
Mm.
in Georgia. He was there, Matulu Shakur, and I was meeting with him, and I was going in with this brother. I'm not going to say his name, from Georgia State University. I'll just say that. And I
Yeah.
started going into the prisons, and I met with Matulu Shakur. I did not. They want to keep low profile on some things, so I don't talk about stuff like that. But they have a prison program for fathers who are trying to learn how to be fathers in prison. That's the type of work I've done. I've done a lot of work
See.
for and about Black men that I don't talk about. I was in there teaching too, literacy. And one of the things I didn't like, and I had to stop doing the prison work, is because I do not like the way them clink, 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 clink. I can't deal with that. It fucked me up psychologically. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a permanency
Yeah,
to
man, I'm
them
gonna go.
Oh, you gotta
I
go?
was gonna say I'm going to get and drop down. I listen in, but yeah, this is all a different language to them. Accomplishments, actual work on the ground is just different to these guys. So I'll keep listening in. All
Okay,
right.
perfect. I appreciate your
Yeah.
input because you are absolutely
Absolutely.
right.
Have a great evening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
Peace.
crazy. All
Yeah.
right, peace. So I'm gonna go on with the that's what I'm saying. BGS, I have done so much work. I don't even feel like I need to. I'm only bringing up this stuff because the books are making me think about how I've actually applied this stuff. I apply Angela Davis and the information I got from her about prison. I'm gonna actually show you, since you said I don't do research. I actually did it right for Forbes magazine. I wrote about the prison industrial complex and how they disproportionately. I use facts, data, and research. And I'm not gonna lie to you, them Forbes editors are not a joke. We had to do editing 4 times, and that's not uncommon for something that's called uh, a journal. Okay, you have to have facts, and they have to be referenced by editors. You can't just say whatever you want to say. So I do this work. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to actually pull it up and I'm going to show it to you. This will be my next stream. Since you say I don't do research, I'm going to screenshot that. Don't delete it. You think you know everything. You are such an arrogant old man. That's why I get a kick out of watching you. That shit is funny what you do. You're not applying anything. You just read a bunch of books. Here it is. A to Z, fruits and vegetables. Okay? This tells you how to grow stuff. It tells you recipes. It gives you all the information you need. Y'all know how many cookbooks I got over here? And guess what? What's the receipt? You can see me use them damn cookbooks. That's knowledge. I can cook from around the world. Okay. Shantaram, this is a book I read for my own pleasure. Sorry. I read for my own pleasure. Big, thick ass book. Y'all see that? I love this book. It is huge. I also have books by Edgar Allan Poe. Lots and lots of his poetry books. Okay. Let me get to some of the more intellectual stuff. Amira Baraka. Okay. I read plenty, brother. I don't know who you think you are. I had to go to Cuba to buy these. I go to Cuba all the time, learning about Chavez, Fidel. He's a humanitarian. I love this man. I'm in love with Fidel. Fidel and religion. I got all these books on Fidel. Okay. And I got them in Cuba. See, I actually get my ass up and go somewhere and learn something in real life. I go to Cuba and I study their culture. I study Santeria. I study the politics. I went to the Museo Revolucion. I apply my knowledge. Not only do I read about Castro, I go to where he came from. I walk the streets. I watch the children. I see the pride in the Cuban people. You understand? You act like you're so smart. Cornel West, Democracy Matter. I have plenty of interests. I like that street shit too. This is for pleasure. Donald Goins. Yeah, that's that good shit. I love it. Emotional intelligence. Okay? Plenty of books I read. All of this is Deepak Chopra. You don't like Deepak Chopra because that would make you be a better person and make you do self-reflection. You don't want to do that. I have problems with my own body. What do? I learn how to deal with it. Okay? I recommend books like that when I find out somebody else may have the same struggle. We've talked about PCOS and infertility. Okay? I got that 48 Laws of Power. I talk about it all the time. 48 Laws of Power. I talk about it all the time. I apply it. I apply that knowledge, baby. I apply it. I'm in the war room because that's the work I do. I apply this shit to them Confederates. BGS, you want to know something about me? Go put my name in, Maymuna Freeman. Go put my name in Google. Put my real name that I go by in the everyday life, Maymuna Freeman. Put that in Google. Put it in images. Put it in video. Put it in a regular search. You can see my actual work in the community and in this state. Okay? I use this book right here to apply to all of my engagements as I fight the Confederacy in the state of Georgia and with Governor Kemp. I'm networked with other activists. They know me, they call me. We all talk in different southern states. We got a whole network. I do this work out here. Okay? I love to learn about dystopian societies. I have a fetish for North Korea. So I read books about North Korea. Let me find my other one. This is one of my favorite ones. Where is it at? I brought it from downstairs. I'm reading it for like the third fucking time. I need to find a new one. I need to find a new one. Where is it? Where? Oh, here it is, right here. I love this. Naomi. Naomi. I think how you say Yeonmi Parks. And I researched her. She's a real person living here in the United States. I love reading about North Korea. I'm very interested in North Korea. Okay? That's what I read for pleasure. And these are actual historical books. They tell you. That's why I keep calling you Dear Leader. Guess why? That's the Dear Leader. You remind me so much of Kim. You remind me so much of him. That's the one my husband used to read, Dave Ramsey. Well, he does read. But when I met him, he was reading Dave Ramsey. And what did I say that white woman's name was? Got her fucking name. But he had a car full of these, and he was reading this shit. I was like, oh, that turned me on. I want to marry this one. Okay. A man like that, a woman like me can retire at 42. You understand? Dave Ramsey, Total Money Makeover. I got all kind of personal finance books. Baby, it does me well. I apply it. I got something to show for all these damn books that I have. Here's another one. This is from the Baha'i Faith. Marriage Can Be Forever, a preparation count. This is an actual workbook. And you go through the skills and communication and how to get along with somebody. Yeah, you can read about stuff like that. How to love somebody, how to get along, how to navigate marriage. I read stuff like that. While we on the subject of marriage, let me pull out a couple of other books. And I'll get to some of the other ones I like. I like to entertain. Nesting tells you how to entertain at your home. You're going to be surprised. You love to say, ooh, May, you're just so mean and you're so aggressive. You have no idea who I am, really. You have no idea who I am, really. Because it's not for you, sir. You see that? My so-called life as a submissive wife. You don't know anything about me. I'm actually a sub. You don't know that. My husband is a dom. You don't know that. This is entertaining. Mama Gina's School for the Womanly Arts. My husband is a dom. Go look that up if you don't know what that is. They'll be talking all this shit. Your husband's a simp. That's what you think. You have no idea. He's far from that. How to Be a Perfect Housewife. I read these books. I apply it. I love to entertain and have parties. The Surrendered Wife. No, May couldn't be reading that. You have no idea who I am. You just think you know. You're such an arrogant old man. And I also know that you have to have an organized life. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm organizing for myself. I'm not paying anybody. I bought all this shit. And I have books because I'm trying to organize. So I just told my daughter, get out of there. I have all this glassware stuff for my business. How to organize your home and how to keep your life organized. This is the type of stuff I read. Okay. You have no idea who people are. And you know who is my God? Martha Stewart. Let me show you. Martha Stewart showed me how to fold fitted sheets. This bitch know how to do everything. Martha is God. You hear me? How to set a table, all that shit. This is my point of reference book. You're not a good wife. You don't know shit about nobody, BGS. You so arrogant. You don't know shit about me. You don't know anything about me. I have all kind of homemaking stuff. Shameless shortcuts. I got into couponing. Okay? I got into couponing. You'll see me do some stuff. You don't know where it comes from. I done wore this book out. Personal Finance for Dummies. Right? Because my husband met me. You know what he said to me? He said, before we go further, let me see your credit report. Yeah, so I had to study credit. I had to get some books on that. Because he said, well, when you get X, Y, and Z, we can go a little more seriously on your credit. When you get rid of X, Y, and Z, my husband ain't playing. Investing 101. I apply this shit. Okay? Let me put some of these up. Here goes some more. Up from Slavery. I love this book. I used to teach this. Okay. Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. The Atlanta Compromise. The Souls of Black Folk. I have been going back and forth between this great dialogue between these amazing two men, but W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. I soak up everything I can. I love these men. My Bondage, My Freedom. Frederick Douglass. I read plenty of stuff. I don't necessarily read what the fuck you read. I have my own interest. And you not liking what I read or not reading what me not reading. Here another one. White Trash. The 400-year of untold history of class in America. This shit is deep. It's good. It's good. It teaches you the history of how the white folks in West Virginia got stuck, right? They were the buffer zone because the Native Americans, they were going to kill all the white folks. So the white people went and got some poor white trash, throw them out in West Virginia as a buffer for Virginia. And they pawned them their whole life. And they mad. And they don't know why they mad. This is the history of white people in America. This shit is worth reading. I recommend it to everybody, okay? Let me see here. All of this stuff right here, the Joy Diet, the Journey to Self-Discovery, Chant and Be Well, Vastu Living, How to Start a Home Base. No, did she actually do it? How to Start an Event Planning Business. Do I have one? Yes, I do. It ain't home based though. But I started it at home. I got a whole business. You see how I apply that? Everything I got books for is living in my real life. It's applied knowledge, not bullshit just to try to flex on people. Back to Eden. Do you know how old this book is? It's one of my oldest books I have forever. You see that? I be taking notes, BGS. I be taking notes. I be underlining. You see that? This book right here will save your life. Okay? Jethro Kloss. This is an old but goodie. It's not modern medicine. He tell you how to fix your damn self. Most of it's going to end up telling you to get a enema or drink some goddamn water, to be honest with you. It's always a goddamn enema with Jethro. Okay? There we go. Capitalism in Crisis. Fidel Castro. You see that? Look at my boy. There my girl. Bell Hooks, Pedagogy of Hope. Teaching Community. Fidel Castro, War, Racism, and Economic Injustice. I be reading BGS. It just ain't what you read. It's okay. Now, this is one of my favorite books, How Food Works, because I'm a cook. How does food work? How do we get things through processing? How do you cut a fish? How do you fillet? What are the different types of ingredients and all kind of shit? You see that? The science of peppers. All kind of stuff. You see that? I be reading. And it's so crazy when you hear somebody like you come and talk about somebody. I apply everything. That I read to my real life. I'm just going through some samples. I got 2 more stacks of books, then I'm going to stop. I got 2 more stacks of books, then I'm going to stop. Let me do this one. Rock My Soul. Ooh, Bell Hooks. Sisters of the Yam. Woo, that's some deep shit. Now, this one talks about Black women in that mouth. You love to read this one. She talks about how Black women have a harsh mouth. I agree with her. All About Love. I still got my little marker right there. I ain't finished that one. Ooh, this one I love. Why do I read this one? I'm Still Here. Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness by Austin Channing Brown. Why did I read this? I read this book because I have an organization I created. You can read about it. It's called SMAC. Matter of fact, I just found they were on CBS. Okay. I created this amazing organization and I created a black board to help me lead it. And I had some do-gooder, woke-ass motherfuckers that came and they brought money and finance. And they infiltrated my organization. And they did not want to listen to the NAACP or any of the other Black elected officials and leaders, including the one who brought the legislation. White men wanted to take over that organization. And when they let me know that my organization that I created, that they would bump up against me, I resist all aggression of white people. You know what I told them? I said, I will take my black ass and resign and continue to do the work. And I'm going to allow you to steal my intellectual property because I trusted your ass. And that's the price I'm going to pay for it. Smack. Stone Mountain Action Coalition. Look it up. I actually have a body of work. You don't. But when that happened to me, myself and my activist friend who raises hell in another southern state, she recommended this book for me. She had the same thing happen to her nonprofit. The white people on her board tried to take over her fucking board. Once you create a board, an organization, you will find out that there are entities within it that will try to push you out. Okay? It happens to all kind of CEOs and owners of companies. It happens. They get together and hey, so when you see Stone Mountain Action Coalition, that is the organization. I am the founder of it. Okay? That's my work. Look it up, BGS. You're so arrogant. I apply this. But I had to read this book because it talks about being black as an activist and having white people try to use microaggressions and white privilege on your black ass while acting woke. This shit right here saved my goddamn sanity, okay? Save my goddamn sanity. Okay, here go another bell hooks. Talking Black. Okay. Uh-oh, no. Remember you asked me the other day, do you know that I read philosophy, sir. I don't give people quizzes on it, but do you know, what did you ask me? Do you know about Carl Jung? I read a lot of stuff about Greece too. I got books over there on Barack Obama. Oh, let me pull this one. Ooh, I like this one a lot. This is one of my favorite books, Nero. That's a nasty motherfucker. Look at that. Sex Lives of the Roman Emperors. Man, this shit is so scandalous. This some Hollywood shit. I was reading this. I couldn't believe the stuff they incest, boys, and grown ass men. You see that picture? See? They be doing some nasty stuff in Rome. So I know about that. Okay. What else I got over here? I got layers of books behind books. Learn to be an optimist. Okay. I got all kind of books. I studied Gandhi. I actually went to India. And I went to all of the places where Gandhi was. I went to his museum. I apply my knowledge. I learn about it and then I get out into the world. Don't make me break out my National Geographic books. Don't make me break out all my National Geographic magazines. Don't make me do it. I love this book. No Excuses, Brian Tracy. Get something done. BGS, you got no excuses. Why you ain't got no degree? Why you ain't got 2 or 3? No excuses. This book right here will change your goddamn life. Look at that shit. I fold a page. I actually read my shit. You ain't gonna sit there and you don't read, man. Yes, I do. This book right here will change your goddamn life. Okay? The Wretched of the Earth, Frantz Fanon. I have to think about this when I'm traveling. Am I a colonizer? Do I act like a colonizer? I own property in another country. Do I treat them people funny? Yes, I do. But at least I recognize it. Okay? Brian Tracy, Setting Goals, how to get what you want faster than you ever thought possible. He taught me about making lists and goals. I got a whole board over here. It's got a whole bunch of stickers on it. Whole bunch of stickers. I got quarterly goals. It's over here. It's right over here. Okay. I got orange stickers, green stickers, and yellow stickers. I apply when I'm learning. I got quarterly goals I live by. Okay. No excuse. Don't make no excuse. I meet my deadlines. Metahuman. Again, this is another Deepak Chopra. Another Deepak Chopra. This shit right here is deep. This talks about the brain and the cosmos. And it talks about the different layers of the universe, the 3rd and the 4th and 5th dimension, and how the brain actually affects the real world. Manifestation, how you can bring shit into reality. Then I got my boy, W.E.B. Du Bois. Love it, love it, love it. This man is amazing. I got this other book. This one's called Sensuous Living. I love this book. You see how how beat up it is. I took this motherfucker everywhere. Okay. Sensuous living. What does it talk about? It talks about noticing, being aware. Everywhere you go, notice the smell in the air. Notice the birds are flying. What color are they? When you drive past stuff, are you paying attention? What do the houses look like? Do you remember the color? Do you have any sense of detail? Are you actually living? Are you actually present? What did that food taste like? Right? I'm almost done. I'm not finna sit and go through all my books. I'm trying to make a point. How business works. You see that? How business works. The in and out. I got one call. How money works. The ins and outs. This shit is crazy. It goes through the beginning from day one, the evolution of money. Then it shows you how the Jews created banks and why they created banks. Okay. And it talks about how the kings had to trade, they had to move money from one country to another to fund their wars. And what they realized is they would very easily have their treasure stolen going from one country to another, from king to king. So what they ended up doing was creating a system. The Jews did this. They would let the monarchy borrow the money locally, and they had a code that they would tell the other bank in another city state, you go ahead and give them 2,000. We understand it's a promissory note on this end. That's how they did it. So that way money doesn't physically move. That's the beginning of banks. Okay. Then it talks about the monetary system and all the different ways that money transfer. This is very interesting stuff. It's probably boring to most. Now, this is the stuff I like to read. This is Neville Goddard. Okay. The Neville Goddard Complete Reader. It has all the work of Neville Goddard. He talks about manifestation. You should give it a try, BGS, because what you believe can become reality. And I believe in that. Okay. And Neville Goddard has the science behind it. I love Neville Goddard. I'm actually in an alchemist group. That's where I get the name from. Female Nomad. I love this book. I love to read Indian novels for pleasure. I love reading Indian novels for pleasure. Now, the reason why you're going to see these 3 books is because I checked them out from the library so many times. I ended up collecting fees because I refused to give the fucking books back. Okay. The Law of Human Nature. You can see that I have not touched the new ones. Okay. I started reading the ones from the library, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. If I think I renewed it like 4 times. This means nothing. The books right here, I have books. I take them, I read them, and I put them in a pile. As a matter of fact, I got a pile back here. Let me see what's in it. Of books I'm giving away. Let me see what I got. Cause see, once you got the knowledge, you ain't got to keep on keeping the damn book. This is one of the books I'm giving away. Old as hell, I've been reading it. Selected Poems by Langston Hughes. I memorized all them goddamn poems. I don't even need the book no more. I'm giving away Nikki Giovanni, Selected Poems. I'm also giving away Nikki Giovanni, Soul. And this one I'm going to keep. I thought about it just now. I'm going to keep. This was by Bonaparte Ball, my professor, Agnes Scott. And he wrote this book. When he died, I miss him so much. I decided to go find his book. It's called Appalachian Patterns. He used to always brag about how he said this shit. It was very shocking. He used to say, his name, he used to say everybody thought he was black for his name. And he said that he was just a regular poor white trash. He used to love to say that and cackle. And so he's actually literally from the Appalachian Mountains. I haven't read it yet, but in honor of him, he taught me how to write. I'll talk about Bo Ball another time. I get teary-eyed when I think about him. But what he used to do, he used to make everybody in the class cry at the women's college. He would take your paper, read 3 lines, and if he didn't like it and he wasn't feeling it, if he didn't feel like you had put your heart and soul into it, he would literally take your paper and ball it up and throw it on the floor. So by the end of each class, there was a whole bunch of paper balled up on the floor. You understand? He was a writer. He taught me how to write. The day he didn't throw my paper on the floor and ball it up, I was so fucking happy. That's like I got my degree that day. Because that motherfucker didn't care how you felt. The Law of Human Nature. These are all, of course, by Robert Greene. Mastery, Robert Greene. Hey, what's up, V-Dub? Seduction by Robert Greene. Okay, so these are books, and of course, you know I got the 48 Laws of Power right there. But these are books that I am going into These are my most important new reads right here. These right here. Okay. This is what I'm currently trying to read. I really don't have a lot of time during what you call high season. Okay. I don't have a lot of time during high season. Okay. And you mentioned that you were mentored by, who'd you say? Iyanla Vanzant. I happen to be an Iyanla Vanzant fan. Trust. Love it. Value in the valley. Until today. Forgiveness. Need I go on? Need I go on? I love Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. That changed my life. Every day I pray. And then we have, I could go on. I got a lot of Iyanla. I got every book Iyanla got, I believe. So you ain't the only one who read Iyanla, but I don't ask you a quiz on it, do I? You're so arrogant, old man. You're just so goddamn arrogant. Now, is there anything you want to suggest? Anything else? Anything else you need to know? I got I don't know how many more. I don't know how many more books here. I got The Tower of Inner Peace. Oh, shoot. This one's good. Haitian Voodoo. I got the history of Haiti. Spiritual cleansing. The magic. Y'all know about that? Manifestation. I got all this social media stuff over here, right? Social media marketing. Do I do that? Yes, I do. I just did a photo shoot, social media marketing. Starting an online business. All of that stuff about marketing. I have a business. BGS. I don't learn. I got a whole bookshelf over there I'm not even finna go through. 3 tiers. I'm not finna go through all of this. I'm not about to go through all of this. Okay? I gotta put all these fucking books back as it is. And I got all them travel books over there. That's applied knowledge. I studied all them. Mexico, Amsterdam. I got a world history book over there. India, Paris, Morocco. All kind of stuff. Dubai. You name it. I travel. I apply my knowledge. I don't use knowledge to flex on people. You had the nerve to say I don't read. And tonight, your arrogant ass had enough nerve to say that I don't do research. Now, I'm going to go into my little door. I got a door in this closet right here. It's like an attic. I'm going to go in there and pull out my research, and I'm going to make an ass out of you again. I'm going to prove you wrong 2 times, today and tomorrow. I'm going to show you I'm published by Forbes magazine. Do you want to see the Forbes magazine check for $3,000? You want to see that too? I'm published. If you send me your email, BGS, I'm going to show you the information so you can see me. Want to see me do a lecture tomorrow in a whole nother city? You want to see that? This past summer, I took a trip to New York. I don't pay for that. I don't pay for that. They pay for me to come out to do lectures to the public. Okay? But you're the only one that know anything. Really? I have lived, all of this is lived experience and applied knowledge. From cooking, you can see that applied to my life. Gardening, the history and understanding of vegetables and plants and how to generate life from the ground. It's applied knowledge. All that's over there. Herbology, all that's over there. Crystals. We had a conversation the other day. Us ladies was talking about them crystals, right? We're talking about them crystals. Applied knowledge, BGS. Applied knowledge, baby. All of us women know about them crystals. Applied knowledge. I don't use books and knowledge and information to flex on people. I use it for real life. I use it in real life, and I got real receipts for all of my stuff. I don't learn Black history for nothing. I learn Black history so I can let white folks know who they really are and why they really want to put a foot on our neck. And I apply it right here at the Georgia State Capitol with new legislation to get the foot off the neck. That lecture I'm doing tomorrow is about that. I work with leaders and people in my community. I help to actually put people into place, into office. I don't talk about that shit. Go on my channel, scroll down. I've had to block the Democratic Party from bothering me. They've been relying on me for 20 years. And I finally said no. I will not be your workhorse and slave. I have discontinued them from my emails. I've stopped their calling logs and calling lists and all of that shit. I'm done with the Democratic Party. But if you go on my shorts, you can hear a recorded phone call from somebody who I blocked telling me that I'm one of the best political organizers that they have ever seen. And this November, Georgia needs me and my strategy and the hard groundwork and the planning that I do so they can actually win. I apply my knowledge. I don't use knowledge to flex on people. I'm a real person. I don't come online and try to make myself nobody. I'm only using what these books have brought up as receipts. I wouldn't have thought about half of this shit, the Angela Davis and all this other stuff. I created an organization and a message and a mission, and it continues. We must end the Confederacy in the state of Georgia legally. There's legislation that was written specifically for SMAC, the organization I created as the single founder. And I learned a hard lesson about white supremacy and woke white people. I learned a hard lesson. They will kick your Black ass to the curb when they see your organization gaining power and prestige. I'm not even going to get into that because I start acting crazy. But I just want you to understand, I have receipts, BGS. I'm going to say that to you again. I got receipts, brother. Google Maymuna Freeman. We can do that receipt right now. I'm not even going to pull it up. You Google it. You can see my work out here. Where's your work, sir? All of this shit ain't nothing. Where's your work? Tomorrow, I'm going to show you my published work. I'm going to show you the work that I actually did called Action Research. I created a mentoring program at an alternative school as a teacher. I had to get permission to do it because you have to make sure that your subjects know that they're being studied and what they're being studied for. So I had to get approval from the district, a formal inquiry. Can I do research, action research using these students and this population? And that's what I did. I created a mentoring program with 3 tiers on it. 3 tiers: academics, behavior, and attendance. If I get these young Black people, mostly boys, if I get them hooked up with a mentor, a male mentor, and we brought in a whole church group, and we assigned all them boys mentors, and we had a control group, how might their academics improve? How might their attendance improve? And how might their behaviors improve? Action research with real people over the course of a year. And I have all the data. I got all the background knowledge, what you call your literary review. I got all of that. Journals, scholars, scholarly journals, peer reviewed. I got all of that. I spent hours at Emory University and on EBSCO host. That motherfucker is thick. Where's your research, BGS? Where's your applied knowledge? Where does it manifest? Where? I got pictures of me and students telling me that the methods that I use helped them to finally pass the Georgia high school graduation test after 3 attempts, 3 failed attempts. The things that I taught them in literacy helped them. They tried to take that test that they couldn't even get and graduate from high school. They failed 3 times until they met Miss Freeman. I'm an excellent teacher. You understand? I got real knowledge and I apply it. And I have impact with young at-risk boys, particularly. I got pictures. I think of Andre right now. He was bad. He was in bad shape. I tell every one of my students, when you do well, when you accomplish, come see me. I need to see you. And lo and behold, here he comes 4 or 5 years later. I'm going to show his picture. Not today. I got receipts for what I do. I helped him pass the ASVAB, the military test. He had a hard time. He wasn't a sharp tool. I'm just be honest with you. He wasn't sharp. I helped him pass that. He went into the Marines and he came back. Boy, that outfit he wearing, he was so tall and handsome. I mean, he evolved. He was like a grown ass man. I just couldn't believe it. He was so goofy when he was with me. He was so goddamn goofy. Just as silly as he want to be. He came back with that Marine. I don't know if you done seen that outfit they got. That shit is sharp. The formal one. That shit was sharp. I got receipts for my life. I got education books here. All kind of stuff. I got education books here. I'm not finna go through all of this. Got tons of stuff I read. My library card list will tell you the history of me. My daughter checks out 30 books at a time. We have to carry it in a fucking basket, a big heavy ass basket, a wicker basket. Okay. She check out books, I check out books, either every Friday or every other Friday, depending on what's going on. We have a library book reading culture here. You can hear my daughter read. Go and look through it. I don't share a lot of her, but I do share her reading. She has a whole classroom and educational space in this house. I think that absolutely what Gabe said is very, very right. You're strange. You're the only motherfucker who tries to weaponize reading and information and random facts against people. Why do you have so much to prove? I would never bother doing this except to prove you wrong because you're so damn arrogant. That shit was so damn arrogant the other day. And this was arrogant again. You haven't written anything. You don't have any research. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Give me your email, BGS. Give me your email. Give me your email. Give me your email. So that way I ain't got to do some of this shit public. I don't even got to do it. I'm going to do it private. Save you some pride, dignity. Okay. I've been out in my garage and I've been rearranging. I've been organizing. Look, applying the knowledge. Applying the knowledge of having an organized life. I've been working real hard today, moving stuff upstairs and downstairs. Applying the knowledge, making sure my house is in order. Getting rid of old things and putting in new things and shelving units and shit like that. Because I done bought a whole bunch of business stuff that I can't take to the warehouse because it'll get broke. So I have a glass room and I got to organize that shit better. But that's what I do. I apply my knowledge. I don't brag about it. I don't use it to beat people down and talk shit to people and try to mistreat people because I happen to know a little bit of shit here or there. The body of knowledge of the whole entire world is so vast that you asking one random ass question or 2 or 3 or a series of questions is just damn stupid. That doesn't prove anything. It doesn't make anybody stupid because you happen to know something that you wanted to know that was in your field of interest. And somebody else doesn't because maybe they're not interested in that. Very, very arrogant. Very, very arrogant. And I submit to you, BGS, the reason why, and I'm sure you're going to go tell people, May did this whole thing and all it was feeling books. I'm sure you're going to do that because you're too arrogant to just say I was wrong. The woman has been reading since she was a child. The woman read so much she was drawn to become a journalist. The woman read so much that she became an author herself. The woman read so much that she taught others to read and write. You're not going to be able to say that because the arrogance in you will not allow you to acknowledge anything. And matter of fact, the woman has helped other people learn to read and write and actually graduate from high school and go on to become bachelor's degree graduates and master's degree graduates. You're not going to mention any of that because you're too arrogant. As a matter of fact, May is a reader. She's an avid reader. She can recount all the books she read and the knowledge she got from them. She did a small little show and tell. And yes, she reads. You're not going to be able to do that because you're too arrogant. You're going to find something wrong with my book collection. Oh, she just reads about fruits and vegetables. You have to find a way to discount people because you're insecure. You're just simply insecure. That's all. Very, very insecure. And that's sad. Books are not weapons and knowledge is not a weapon. People learn together. They learn and grow from each other. That's the truth. There's nothing to be weaponized about that at all. And only an arrogant, insecure person would do that. Cutting people off, acting like they don't have anything to say, and they can only say something in 30 seconds because they'll start sounding too intelligent for you and your taste. You don't want to be grandstood. You don't like people to, you call it grandstanding, I'm sure. If someone actually says something particularly intelligent, your first emotion is, I got to cut them off. I got to say something. I got to ask them some stupid ass question. I got to run into my lecture. I got to cut them off. Your main thing, if you listen to yourself, you just cut people off constantly. You do not want to appear that anybody has anything relevant to say but you. That we're going to get into that. That's a whole nother, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down. The science of insecurity as it relates to conversation. You're going to get that lecture, sir. I'm going to do a PowerPoint, sir. I'm going to do a PowerPoint just for you. Okay? I'm not going to roast you. I'm going to give you a mirror and I'm going to show you yourself. Okay? I'm not really going over an hour. I see that I have said what I had to say. I have shown you books. All of this is applied knowledge. A little bit is for pleasure. Donald Goins here. I have I meant to say, yes, I have this. I need to say this. I have an interest in intentional communities. I have an interest in cults. Okay. Any content when it relates to movies, documentaries. What was OSHA was the last one. I studied OSHA for a little while. Now I don't buy no cult books. Okay. I check them out from the library. I watch documentaries about cults. I am highly interested in cults. So that might just be one of the draws. Why am I interested in cults? Because cults have a psychological mechanism, okay, that I find very, very interesting. I think cult leaders are interesting. The dynamics between the led and the following, okay? I find that shit interesting. So anybody who's like, why does she always bother or pay attention? It's because I have my own fetish with cults. That's part of it. We talked about cults yesterday. And so I want to come clean with that. I want to just say, I'm interested in cults. I've read about the what do you call it? The Mormon, Latter-day, all that stuff. All of that stuff. You name a documentary or something about a cult or whatever, I have some knowledge of it. There's one I just came across. I thought was really strange. It was so disturbing. I had to stop watching it. I believe the woman's name, she called herself Mama or something like that. And she's a white woman. She ended up dying and they put her in, they shrined her on her bed and she was stinking and funky and dead on the bed, and they didn't know what to do with her because they wanted to worship her so bad. It was crazy. I had to let that one go. That's on YouTube. You can find that. But I try to look at bigger cults. I don't want to get too close to I just look. And I'm like, ooh, oh, that's very interesting. But the OSHA group is very, very interesting. So that was the most recent one that I followed. Oh, and of course, Nature Boy. I followed Nature Boy for about 1.5 years till he went to jail. And yeah. So I have an interest in cults. That's just honest. But I also am very interested in North Korea because it also does the psychological thing. And then 1984, Animal Farm, all of that. I think that stuff is interesting. And dystopia. I like dystopian novels. I have one I'm listening to on audio on YouTube. So dystopian novels and movies I like, and cult stuff I like, and North Korea. It's all psychological. All right. So that's all I want to share. And I hope you, BGS, can admit that you were wrong, absolutely wrong, saying that you don't read, Nay. You don't read. Oh, I haven't read this book, but I bought it. I went to California and I became interested in colonialism and the architecture of the Spanish architecture, mostly missions from the Catholic Church. But I ain't read that book. I just bought it for the future when I get bored and old. Anyway, all right, I'm done. He said, what in the gender war have I walked into? Nothing, just me getting an old man told. Part 2 is going to be research and receipts. He cannot produce any formal research, but I can. And I have work that I have that is documented in the community. I have created a list already of some of those links, and I'm waiting for his email so that I can send them to him. And I don't read or deal with old ass research unless it relates to historical documents for real estate or the transfer of property or names. Okay, I want to start out. Hey, Woo, and hey, and Venus as well. I had to get through this. Y'all forgive me. I didn't have much of a panel. Y'all forgive me. And he said, in fact, I need to screenshot this. Where's my damn phone? Where's my phone? I need to screenshot this shit. Where the hell did my phone go? God damn it. Okay, let me just end it. I guess I can find it later. I want to screenshot this part about, what did he say? What did he say? He said, you don't do research. You're going to eat them words tomorrow. All right, gotta go. See y'all later. Appreciate you.